basically he was like, I'm his father-in-law, he's married to my daughter, and basically was like, the family's about to pull up, they want to meet you. So she literally got ambushed. She had no idea that he was married, of course, and now the whole family's about to pull up on her. So the whole family gets there, the wife, everybody, his mom, and it's a whole powwow. What's up, YouTube? It's your girl Tori Patrice, and I am back with another video. Today I'm going to be reviewing the latest episode of 90 Day Fiancé the Other Way. And girl, it was crazy. Let's just get straight into it. First we have Karine and Paul. So it seems like everything is more calm and copacetic now that their son Pierre is born, who's a beautiful baby, by the way. So Paul's mother came to visit him and Karine and the baby, and she seemed to be very warm towards Karine, very excited to meet her, so there was no friction, and I was really happy about that. And so far it seems like they're trying to work out the issues that they had in the past, and right now they're in a calm stage, so hopefully it stays that way. And that was pretty much all they showed of Paul and Karine, so there's not much to tell on them, so we're gonna move on to the next couple. So next we have Corey and Evelyn. Unfortunately, Corey's father passed away, and they showed the footage of him, you know, reacting to the news last episode. And, you know, Evelyn, this is really the only time I can say something nice about Evelyn. She was, you know, very supportive and comforting. But other than that, there's not anything nice I can say about her. I mean, does anyone else feel that this relationship is very one-sided? She seems to be very narcissistic. It's like the whole relationship revolves around her. It's all about Evelyn. It's like Corey's constantly trying to prove that he's worthy of her and trying to convince her to marry him. And she's like, oh, Corey has to do this if he wants me to take him seriously. Or Corey has to learn how to speak more Spanish, and he has to become friends with people in the village. And
are you serious?
How is he supposed to make friends in the village when everybody is literally laughing at him because you cheated on him when he was in America? I mean, they supposedly were on a break, I don't know, but either way, she slipped up and was with someone else. And Corey was very hurt about it. And the thing that I don't like about her is that she always tries to brush things under the rug that she's done wrong. And she's just like, don't bring it up, don't bring it up. It was in the past, you know, like, I'm sorry. But it's like you haven't done the work to make him feel more secure in the relationship. You have not done the work to make him feel trusting of you. It's like, how do you expect him to just get over it overnight? It's just not going to happen. I mean, they ended up having a heart-to-heart about it on the last episode where, you know, she was like, what can I do to fix it? But it's just like, before they even got to that point, she gave him a whole, like, attitude where he had to sleep outside of the freaking house that he pays for. Like, I mean, I just think he deserves better. And hopefully she either gets her stuff together and realizes what she has, or he moves on and realizes his worth. But yeah, that's pretty much all that happened. Was he was talking to his mom about the passing of his father, and then he basically said that he's torn because he doesn't want to leave his mother during this time of grief and mourning, but he also is kind of eager to get back to Ecuador and hopefully propose to Evelyn. So we'll see what happens with that, and that's where it ended with Evelyn and Corey. So next we have Laura and Aladdin. So if you guys remember, on the last episode, Laura's son Liam finally agreed to come to Laura and Aladdin's 3-day traditional Tunisian wedding. So he flew to Tunisia. It was like a 24-hour trip. And then when he gets there, he's very standoffish and cold towards Aladdin. And Aladdin's trying to be very welcoming and, you know, trying to be humorous and, you know, just lighten the mood. And, you know, like, Aladdin was like, do you want to meet my family? And he's like, no, not really. I'm tired. So you mean to tell me that you're going to stay in somebody's house and not speak to them? That's pretty rude. People were lighting him up in the comments like, that is so disrespectful. He's so rude. He has no social skills. And I'm like, I can't even say anything because that was really rude. Like, you can't just stay in someone's house and just walk in and go to sleep and not speak to people. But, I mean, Laura should have checked her son, in my opinion. Laura needed to check her son. But anyway, so we get to this episode and Liam's on the same old bull. Basically, the day of the first night of the wedding, because remember it's 3 days. So the first night, Liam's like, oh, you know, I'm still tired from my flight, so I don't think I'm gonna come. And of course, Laura is very disappointed because, first of all, she begged him to come in the first place. But then you travel all this distance, 24 hours, and you're not even going to come to the first night of your mom's wedding. Anyway, so it finally ends up admitting that it's not just because he's tired, but because, you know, he thinks that Aladdin is no different from her ex-boyfriend and that, you know, his mom always ends up in bad relationships with bad guys, and basically he doesn't support the marriage between Laura and Aladdin, which, if you knew you weren't going to be on board, you should have just stayed in America, because why would you come and then rain on her parade? Like, what was your point? What was your point? And then he's like, oh, you're really that disappointed that I'm not going to come to the first night of the wedding? I mean, first of all, that's super rude, because in cultures like this where, you know, things are very family oriented, the family's gonna feel very offended that he's not attending. And Laura tried to explain that to him, but he just really didn't care. So anyway, since Laura has this little powwow with Liam, she's late to the freaking first night of the wedding. And Aladdin, he comes to check on her. She's doing her makeup, probably fixing it because she was crying. And she's explaining the situation to him, like, oh, he basically doesn't want me to you know, get involved with anyone. Which I believe is true. I believe that he wants to be the only man in his mother's life. I believe that he might be a bit codependent on his mom, and I can understand a close relationship with his mom. I don't think it's to the extent of Colt and his mom from the other 90 Day, but I do think he wants to be the only man in his mom's life. And anyway, she's explaining this to Liam, and he's like, well, is he gonna be the one to dictate if you're gonna be able to find love or not? And she's like, no. Eventually, Laura gets herself together. She comes out, she dances with Aladdin, she's dancing with the family, and they seem to be having a good time. So it looks like things are going in the right direction, but then again, on the preview, it seems that Liam and Aladdin are gonna have a serious powwow, and Liam's basically gonna tell him that, like, you ain't it for my mom. Like, I don't support this. And it seems like Aladdin is gonna freaking go off. So I'm waiting for that. But basically it ended with them dancing at the wedding. And lastly, the most juicy couple of them all, Jenny and Sumit. Okay, this is a whole hot mess. So last week, Sumit dropped the bomb on us that he has been married. Bitch, what? He's been married. Mind you, he has been dating Jenny for 7 years. 7 years. And married for the past 2 or 2.5. She didn't know anything about this. And the thing that makes it so wrong is, one, of course you lied by omission because you didn't tell her that you were married. But the thing that makes it even worse is you knew that you could not marry her, given the circumstances, and you still led her on, allowed her to give up everything in America to come be with you in India. And you were married this whole freaking time. I'm like, how do you not see the huge issue with this? Like, you allowed her to give up her retirement, her car, her house. She has nothing to go back to in America. Literally, you convinced her to give up her independence because she has to be completely, totally reliant on him in India. She cannot work. She's on a tourist visa. She can't work until they legally get married. She literally is completely dependent on him. He put her in this position knowing that he could not marry her. It's just mind-boggling. Like, what did you think was going to happen? Like, you literally had her move to India to be your side piece. That's crazy. And I mean, I do believe that he does love her. But, man, he screwed up big time. Like, so basically, Jenny explains what happens when she finally finds out that he has a wife. So basically what happened was Summit got a call. You know, he's been getting calls all season from his family, getting suspicious about, you know, where he was. But he had just said it was because they weren't going to approve of him getting married to Jenny. That's a lie he's been telling her. So she probably didn't think it was anything out of the ordinary at first, but then he said lock the door. Well, he went out the apartment and he told her to lock the door. And basically she said the next thing she knew, she heard a knock on the door, and then she came to the door and saw Summit and some man, and basically he was like, I'm his father-in-law, he's married to my daughter. And basically was like, the family's about to pull up. They want to meet you. So she literally got ambushed. She had no idea that he was married, of course. And now the whole family's about to pull up on her. So the whole family gets there. The wife, everybody, his mom. And it's a whole powwow. Like, they had Summit cornered. He was in a fight stance. She said that, you know, his family asked him, do you love Jenny? He was like, yes, I love Jenny. They were like, you're going to jail. We're going to file a complaint against the police, and Jenny's going to go to jail too because she's living with a married man.
Y'all are going to jail, period.
And it was just this whole thing. And eventually she said his mother grabbed him, and Jenny was also trying to grab him, and the mother gave her a death glare that just like, you better back the F off. And Jenny was like, I don't want no problems. So basically they took Summit out of there. They dragged him out of there and left poor old Jenny all by herself with literally nothing. She has nothing. I mean, she doesn't know what to do. She doesn't even know how to, like, sustain her. How could she sustain herself? I mean, so she's left at the apartment all alone. She breaks down, and she calls the producers. They fly to India so that she can tell this story as I just related to you. And their story ended with her going to a cyber cafe. She called her daughter and her daughter-in-law, and they were video chatting, and basically she just told them what happened. They were like, what? They were like, I mean, her daughter was like, I understand the whole arranged marriage situation, like, you know, I understand that, but he didn't tell you, and he put you in a position to where anything could happen to you. He doesn't know what his family, well, does know what his family could do to you, and you know, he just put you in a really effed up situation. And she was like, Mom, you need to come home. And Jenny was kind of like, Jenny seems to be kind of course she's distraught, but she actually seems to be kind of sympathetic. Like, she knows he loves her, and she knows that he didn't want to be married to his wife. You know, it was an arranged marriage, but either way, girl, he put you in a situation that he should have never put you in. I mean, he allowed you to give up everything under false pretenses. He allowed you to give up everything under the notion that you would be married, knowing that he could not marry you. He could not marry you. He was just going to wait till, what was he going to do? Just wait till your visa, keep you as a side piece until your visa ran out? Like, because she only has 2 months left on her tourist visa. So at this point, I feel like she just needs to pack up and go. Like, she doesn't need to wait for him to come back to the apartment. Like, he has had you hiding out in this apartment the whole season. And the whole ironic thing is that she literally predicted it. Remember on a couple episodes back when she was like, I feel like I'm your mistress or something. I mean, you have me in the apartment all the time. And he was like, don't say that. Don't say that. You're not my mistress. I'm going to insert the clip right here.
I mean, I feel like I'm your mistress or your little sidekick or something. Like,
no, it's not like that. Who said that? And what makes you think like that?
Because you're hiding me. Because you're hiding me from everybody. I feel like I am just a mistress, just sitting here waiting for Cement to come back home whenever he decides time. It feels horrible. Like I'm supposed to be the woman that you're in love with.
You know, in America, when a husband has a mistress, you know what he does? He rents an apartment for her, and he keeps her in that apartment, and he hides her from her whole family. And he comes over and has his fun with her and gives her money, and then he goes back to his home again.
It really hurt to hear her use that word mistress. It's not like that at all.
She literally predicted it. I feel so bad for her. I mean, she was hysterical. She was crying. She doesn't know what to do. What can she do? She's a woman alone in India, a foreign country she knows nothing about. She doesn't speak the language. He could be going to jail. Like, she has 2 months left on her visa. She might as well leave. And probably less than that at this point, because she had 2 months, like, an episode or so ago. So, at this point, Jenny, I feel like she needs to cut her losses, come back to America, because this is going nowhere fast. So, yeah. Comment down below your thoughts on this episode. It was just unbelievable. And I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Let me know if you guys want me to review the next episode. And see you later. Bye, guys.